themselves or allocate themselves, alienate themselves totally, and it shall discharge their duties and functions in the interest of the nation as a whole, and in doing so shall be influenced by the dictates of conscience and the national interest. Honorable Speaker, having regard to Standing Order 8.1, which states, in all cases where matters are not expressly provided by the standing orders, any question on procedure or order shall be decided by the Speaker. Having regard to Standing Order 8, paragraph 2, which states, the decision made in paragraph 1 shall be based on the Constitution, state law, precedents, customs, precedents, traditions, and practices of the Assembly. Having regard to Standing Order 8.3, which states, the Speaker's ruling shall be final on all questions of procedure or order. Having regard to the fact that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, bearing in mind that Section 152 of the Constitution expresses that the budgetary consideration process must be initiated under Section 152 of the Constitution by the President, causing the minister responsible for finance to prepare and lay before the National Assembly at least 30 days before the end of the financial year estimates of revenue and expenditure of the Gambia for the following financial year, estimates of revenue and expenditure of the Gambia for the following year for approval. Having regard to Standing Order 85, we state that the Standing Orders 81 to 90 must be the basis of dealing with the finances of the country, in dealing with the estimates and revenue. Having regard to Section 21 of the Public Finance Act, which provides the laying of the appropriation bill documents by the minister. Having regard to Section 24 of the Public Finance Act, which indicates that the content of the estimates in terms of the actuals, revised estimates, and estimates for the budgetary year must be provided for by the minister. Having regard to Section 25, which deals with the structure of the appropriation, which states the structure of the appropriation and reporting to the National Assembly shall follow the expenditure requirements outlined in Section 24B, D, and E, which shall be the structure for appropriation, spending limits, accounting, and reporting, be determined by the existing expenditure classification system or such other classification system established by the minister. Having regard, Honorable Speaker, to Standing Order 91. Honorable Speaker, where it says, on the moving of a motion to approve the estimates, the chairperson shall propose a question on each of the votes in turn. Honorable Speaker, having regard to 91.3, in considering the estimates, the Committee of Supply shall take into consideration the reported findings and recommendations of the Assembly Committees and the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, consolidated report on the Assembly Committee's consideration of the draft, and shall ensure 1A, an increase in expenditure in a proposed estimate is balanced by a reduction in expenditure in the same or other proposed estimate. B, a proposed reduction in expenditure is used to reduce a deficit in the budget. Having regard, Honorable Speaker, that amendments may be made to an item. The amendment is to an item which exists, subhead which exists, estimate which exists within the estimates, having regard to paragraph 5, which states very clearly, an amendment to any estimate to increase the sum allotted thereto to respect of any item therein may only be moved if balanced by a commensurate reduction in that or another estimate, and it says exactly what must be said. Every such amendment shall take the form that the estimate for what is there be reduced. So it is what is concretely there is what is going to be reduced, and you mentioned the number of dollars in respect of subhead, the item, if appropriate, and the estimate subhead item, if appropriate, and the estimate for an increase in the item, the subhead, and the amount of money to be in the form to be approved, Honorable Speaker. Having regard to paragraph 7, which means that an amendment to increase the sum allotted to the estimates overall may only be moved by the Vice President or the Minister in the same form. So, Honorable Speaker, I wish to move that by adding a sum to the Assembly which has no provision in terms of item, head, subhead, and head, went beyond the bounds of what this Assembly is empowered to do under our Constitution, on the Public Finance Act, and our standing orders. And by virtue of that, I move that we rescind our decision and then allow the Clerk of the National Assembly and the Ministry to work on any proposal that any member may have. Failing which, Honorable Speaker, the giant work we have done within a matter of few weeks, we were able to engage all the ministers, involve them in the whole process, and came up with profound recommendations for amendments that has shown the capacity of the Assembly to safeguard the interests of the nation. And the primary focus of the Public Finance Committee, Finance and Public Accounts Committee, is to reduce the deficit. That's what we are told. And all the members of that committee are united in that mission. Honorable Speaker, based on that fundamental objective, they were able to engage the judiciary, engage the National Audit Office, engage the President's Office, engage all those who matter to get them to subscribe to the reduction of that deficit. Honorable Speaker, if we who showed that our intention is to reduce the deficit, now reduce another item, another head, only to add it to ours, not for our work, but for our individual interests, I will say that we will not sacrifice Section 112 of the Nation, Section 112 of the Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you. Any seconder? Honorable Member for Opsalu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion moved by the member for Serekunda.
Honorable members, it was moved and seconded that the Assembly receive the decision of the Committee of Supply that took place in this National Assembly yesterday. Yes, to create a new budget line for National Assembly. Honorable, those in favor, please say aye. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no.
I call for a division, Honorable.
Division. Yeah. Honorable, we call for a decision. Now that a decision is requested on this matter, could the honorable members, those in favor, said yes, raise your constituency tax. Yes, I said those honorable who said yes to rescind the decision. Count.
What is happening in the National Assembly? Yesterday, the National Assembly members created a new budget to allocate a loan scheme for themselves, which is $54 million, 400,000 for them to build their houses. So the decision was made. The National Assembly 25 supported. Today, Halifa Sallah passed a motion that the decision is not in line with the law and it is inconsistent with the law, and he has passed a motion for it to be rescinded. So now they are taking votes in regards to that accept.
Honorable members, could we again, for the second time, because the figures here is conflicting, those that are in favor, could you please raise your constituency tax? Please count properly. We want to receive.
No. Woman though.
Those said no, please. Those said no. Yes, sir.
Yes, it's 60. No, it's 70.
Yes, thank you. Honorable members, according to the records, yes has 16 votes, no has 17. So, therefore, the decision made earlier yesterday at the Committee of Supply stands. Thank you.